Christopher, and I'm going to be talking about the Five Nights at Freddy's movie. More specifically, I'm going to be talking about something that bothered me about the final scenes of the movie, and a little theory as to why they had those events play out the way they did. So, spoiler warning if you have not seen the movie yet. Still here? Good. The scene in question is the grand reveal of William Afton being the job counselor guy and the big fight during the movie's climax where he's in the big bunny suit. Vanessa shoots him right in the torso and it presumably does nothing. This just doesn't sit well with me, and it got me thinking, just what are these suits made of to where they can withstand a near point blank shot to the torso and act like nothing happened? That's exactly what I'm looking to find out, and the best part is, we're actually given plenty of hints within the movie itself. You see, it would be super easy to write it off as saying the suit has Kevlar, a super tough fabric-like material that's used to make the plates for bullet-resistant vests. And believe it or not, but there is evidence to support this, as a simple search looking into what materials were used to create the animatronics, we're able to see that their outside is armor-like, using fabric, not really telling us exactly what kind of fabric or even how many types of fabrics were used. Okay, fine. So assuming William had Kevlar in his suit, giving him a level of protection against gunshots, he should have still been screwed the moment he was shot. That's because even though the bullet wouldn't have penetrated into the suit, the kinetic energy from the bullet hitting the suit should have been more than enough force to trigger the spring locks in his suit, leading to his demise. And some of you may ask, well, why didn't Vanessa just aim for the head? The most obvious answer being she didn't want to just outright unalive her own dad, but it's also because she's a police officer. And while yes, Vanessa hardly acts like a legitimate police officer throughout the entire movie, doing a lot of things cops should never do, when she shoots William, she's actually doing the correct thing. That's because police officers are trained to shoot for the center body of mass, and never shoot for the head. The reason being that going for headshots is too risky, as it's a small target and can easily result in you missing the target and accidentally hitting someone else in a crossfire. And contrary to what the media portrays, police officers are rigorously trained to be cautious of their surroundings to avoid crossfire and to never go for kill shots. At the end of the day, it's the duty of a police officer to stop the threat without having to unalive them. With that being said, with the placement of the shot, and the caliber of the gun she uses, which looks to be either a 1911 or a Sig Sauer 45 ACP, we can determine that without a doubt she hit one of the spring lock mechanisms dead on. Using an earlier scene that shows just how sensitive the spring locks are and exactly where they are in relation to the wearer's body, we see that it doesn't take a whole lot of force to activate them, so a gunshot directly on one of them should have definitely triggered it for sure. And while the spring locks activating wouldn't have instantly stopped William Afton, we know that the pain caused by them going off is enough to paralyze him, ultimately saving Vanessa from getting stabbed. However, while this scenario may seem better, there's a couple reasons why it wouldn't have worked, and why it's thanks to the series' extensive lore. You see, if Vanessa were spared, then Mike and Abby likely wouldn't have figured out that the only way to stop him is to replace the drawing that makes the ghost children realize that Afton was their killer and target him. Meaning that even after William succumbed to his injuries, the animatronics would still be trying to target Mike because they're still brainwashed. And yeah, I suppose Vanessa could be the one who does it or tells Abby how to do it. It's very clear that Vanessa's fate is supposed to be a mystery so she can be brought back in a future movie. We already know that there's a second FNAF movie in the works, and was straight up teased and pretty much confirmed in this movie by Afton saying his iconic line,
"I always come back."
And just looking at the lore, it's also very obvious that somehow Vanessa will return later on as Vanny. And in order for all this to work, she needed to be stabbed, hence why her shooting William did practically nothing. So they can set everything in motion for the Five Nights at Freddy's cinematic universe. Let me know what you think of this video down in the comments. Am I correct in pointing out this mistake, or am I just nitpicking? And while you're at it, subscribe, as it greatly helps out the channel.